Oh, yes. Here we are, Plate and Ponder empty nesting with Jen and Chris Fenton. We are back after a little bit of a week hiatus because we've been on different coasts.
Well, I've been here.
Yes, you have been here.
You're back.
I was the last flight out of Nashville, Tennessee, Friday night, the 23rd. Got out just before Stormageddon took over half of the United States of America.
It's real.
It is real. In fact, it's not just a Stormageddon for the United States of America. I was looking up at where our son is in Montreal, Canada, which is up by Greenland, the 51st state, I think. And it is presently -5. But the good thing is that it feels like -12.
Ooh, it's balmy. I hope he has his Bermuda shorts and his flip-flops, and maybe he's sporting a tank top.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is that we are back. I apologize.
No, you're back. I've been here. Stop saying we. You're back.
Well, we're back on the air, and we got some jiving music. Manhattan Beach is a little
it's kind of overcast.
There's some overcast here, so it's not we're in solidarity with the rest of the country, which is nice. Except it is, I believe, like 65 degrees, not 20 degrees.
I'm cold though. I'm in a cashmere sweater. I'm cold.
Yeah, it's a cute one too. It's like red and
tomato red is very much the in color right now.
I'm gonna go with it's a Canadian flag red versus a China communist red.
Oh, I wasn't going to differentiate between the countries. I went more of the food route, but cool.
Well, I will tell you one of the depressing sides of things is that Prime Minister Carney has sworn his devotion to Xi and the Beijing-led government of China over the U.S. over the last week. I don't know if any of our listeners have been paying attention to that, but if you have, just know that I am not super happy about that, nor are many other China watchers.
Oh, sorry, I was distracted.
Okay.
So, I think that I actually want to talk to you guys about this. Is it normal for spouses or significant others to pick up their significant others or spouses at the airport? Because I did that for you last night.
You have, and I will say that it has been reciprocated by me quite often.
100%. I mean, maybe part of it, I did not have plans last night because I was anxiously awaiting your return after being gone all week. But also it was because, first of all, it wasn't the holiday and it was really easy to drive into LAX and pick you up.
Well, it was also anxiety filled because I believe I was probably one of the last flights heading out of BNA, which is the airport there in Nashville. And there was all kinds of warnings all week that the flights were going to be canceled yesterday. I think today is the big day where most of the planes have been rerouted and there's probably not a lot of flying activity there. And I think these southern states, as I've noticed, are not particularly excited or well equipped for what's about to pass through. Hopefully it's not as bad as the weather forecasters have been warning of.
When we were watching the news this morning, as we were drinking our coffee and sort of waking up, I think it was the Arkansas governor who was on. He's like, well, you should really stock up with food. Oh, actually, it's probably a little too late right now. So I hope you have stuff at your house.
Oh, it was incredible. I mean, I was walking by after dinner the other night. I was walking by a Publix, which is one of their supermarkets there. And there was a line of people coming out of there with just everything you could imagine
like
they were
Fritos buying. And Twinkies, or are we talking about milk and eggs?
I think it was more like, really important staples to have in the event that they do have an ice storm, which takes out power for a long time. And keep in mind, a lot of, obviously downtown Nashville is one thing, and some of the more developed areas like a Franklin or something like that are probably not going to have as bad of issues, but there's a lot of back roads, a lot of country. In fact, that countryside is spectacular when you're so used to being in LA most of the time. And those places are probably going to have issues for quite some time if the ice storm does come and takes down all the power poles and all of that. So our hearts go out to everybody. We're hoping everybody is safe and sound, and maybe this thing has been overestimated, which does happen from time to time. And anyway, we wish our brethren down in those southern states all the best.
Yeah. Well, since you've been gone, though, Do you remember me?
Since you've been gone, I can breathe for the first time.
Do you remember what show that was from?
I don't even know who sings that. Is that Miley Cyrus?
No, but it was from Laguna Beach.
Oh, really? Who?
With like Kristen Cavallari, Stephen Coletti.
Natasha Bennington? Was there
No, that was the other one. Staring at the...
Oh, yeah.
Anyways.
Who sings that? Do we know?
I forget. I mean, I can look it up. But,
okay, anyway.
Do you remember me since you've been gone so long?
I do remember you.
Do you want to play the new?
One other thing I just want to say about Nashville is like every time I'm down there when I have business dinners, people take you to a restaurant, but it turns out, like, for instance, shout out to Gray's, which is in downtown Franklin. It is an incredible place to eat, but it also has a magnificent stage where the restaurant is on the second floor. And we watched a woman and a man play music in a way that was just almost magical. And what was incredible is that it was a Thursday night. We were one of the last people seated in there, and they performed in front of just 4 of us for a good hour.
It's like your own private show.
It was like our own private show, but the passion that they put into it and the incredible talent was, it was just something to behold. And it just made me realize how much musical talent is in that area. It is unbelievable. Sure. And I just love the fact that people will put their heart and soul into a performance when there are only 4 people there. I will tell you.
It's kind of like the podcast. You put your heart and soul and there's only 4 people listening.
Well, we have a few more than that. We haven't added, I don't think we've added to the 35 countries because we've been off for a week.
Well, again, you've been off. I've been here.
Yes.
I think this is a you problem, not a me problem.
That is true.
Kind of like I feel like in our marriage, that's what I usually say.
Yes.
It's a you problem.
Or as our daughter likes to say, what's her favorite thing? It's like
future self problem.
That's a future self problem. Anyway, so yes, let's get into what you wanted to talk. Oh, what are our serious subjects today?
Well, I would love to talk about TikTok maybe becoming a U.S. entity. I'd love to talk about... Wow. I'd love to talk about maybe Netflix following this TikTok model in terms of vertical streaming. But I want to, and we can obviously talk about Iceland and Greenland. And yes, I know that they are not the same place, although our president sometimes confuses them. But I do want to start actually with you getting to know me again because you've been gone. So I want to ask you a couple questions, and I think I'm going to ask you those same questions, and let's see how well we do, kind of like the Newlywed Game.
Okay, and I am praying I say all the right things right now.
Okay.
Let's go.
The first question, what is your favorite color? I think I know it.
I do like red.
Oh, I was going to say yellow.
I like yellow too, but and when I grew up, I thought the ultimate have as a skier was a yellow North Face jacket.
And you actually got one at some point, didn't
I
you?
did get one.
Or were those yellow pants? I can't remember.
I've had a couple over the years.
Yeah.
But my cars have always been red.
What's my favorite color?
Mauve.
Come on.
Purple? No, not green. Is it green?
No. What do I wear all the time?
You love black.
Thank
you. Love black.
Okay.
But black is not a color. It's an
empty.
No, it's no color. White is all colors. Black is no colors.
I'm going to call black as color. Okay. I know the next question. It's who's your celebrity crush? I'm going to tell you who I think it is. Britney Spears, Hit Me One More Time, Pepsi commercial.
You nailed it. I don't know why. Yeah, it is.
Okay,
but that doesn't exist anymore. So you're very safe. The Britney today, by the way, she's aged extremely well. It's awesome. Hats off to her. No, okay. Well, like we talk well.
We're going to
talk
talking
well
about
people, and she's been through a lot. Let's face it.
She has,
and we knew her fiance for a long time.
What's my celebrity crush?
Your celebrity crush is, and it's not the person in real life, it's his character, but it's Taylor Kitsch, his character of Riggins in Friday Night Lights.
Totally.
Yes.
Or I'd say John Mayer. I don't know. There's something about like all the tattoos. I don't know. Okay, fine. Okay. What is one thing you would save if your house was on fire and you had to run out? I think, you want to know what I think you'd say?
I would save Flynn.
I knew you were going to say that. That's what I was.
Well, wait, I would save you and Kaylee and Dylan first.
I knew that was going to be the first thing that you said. I totally called it.
Okay.
What about me?
The coffee maker.
Oh, well, that's true. That is sort of my go-to. I think it'd probably be like the birth certificates, the marriage certificates.
Oh,
some of
you
the
would go
photos.
practical.
I would like grab that bag. We have like a special, like in case of. I think I would do that.
Yeah. Well, you know me. I would go sentimental. You would go practical, right?
Probably.
Like if I could save a lot of pictures, I would probably do that. Like I'm just that guy.
Other than Flynn. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think I would say is your most annoying habit?
Well, you've talked about my sneeze.
But that's not a habit.
Well, the way I breathe.
That's not a habit.
The fact that I chew my food.
By the way, every wife is probably nodding their head because they feel the same way. No. Like, what's an annoying habit that I'm always like, oh my God, Chris, stop.
Telling you we got to do another episode of the podcast?
No. Do you want me to tell you what I think it is?
Yeah.
So you have this thing that happens when you get a song in your head and you say the same one verse of that lyric over and over and over again. And it's the funniest thing because I'm like, okay, I'm cool with the song, but how about you sing the next part of the song?
Well, there's something weird in my brain where it just
sticks.
It like I think it has a record scratch in it, and it just plays it over and over, and I just have to sing it when it's playing over and over in my head. And then the other part that I find is really interesting about me, and maybe it has a more extrapolated meaning too, is that I have to really focus, like even songs I love, I have to really focus on the lyrics in order to know what they're saying and digest it. So for the most part, I listen to music I really like and I don't really pay attention to the lyrics. So the only lyrics I know are the ones that are repeated over and over and over again.
Oh, okay. What is my most annoying habit? I know what you're going to say, but let me
the
see if I'm
fact
right.
that you're annoyed at me a lot.
Yes,
that I nailed it. Yeah, that is the most annoying part about you is that you're always annoyed at me.
I feel like we're doing well with this. Okay, what is your least favorite household chore? I think I know this.
My least favorite household chore?
I think I know this.
I actually like doing chores. It's like my shiny spoon moment.
It is your shiny spoon moment, but there's one.
Least favorite. Well, every morning I make the bed. I don't particularly enjoy it, especially since I make it and then you walk in there and you're like, you made it wrong. And
that's not always true.
Oh, not always true.
You didn't make it wrong today.
Today I made it okay, right? At least, I don't know if I have a least one.
What about picking up the dog poop?
No, well, I mean, who likes picking up dog poo? I mean, it's probably up there with that. It's not like it brings me any closer to Flynn. I just watch him he watches me picking up his poo, and I feel like he's like, yep, I got him right where I want him. So, anyway, what is your least favorite?
What do you think?
Trying to keep things organized with me around the house.
I do. I'm a little OCD in that, and I definitely have order, and I definitely like things in a certain place. I actually was thinking of one that you're probably going to laugh at. I really despise putting toilet paper on the toilet paper roll. For some reason, I'm like, why can't you just do that on your own, number one? And why can't you
Well, first of all, I do it.
No. Well, so then this is going to be the second part of this. You put the toilet paper roll in a different position the way I do it. So I have it so the paper comes down in front. You have it so the paper rolls down in the back.
No, I just put it however it just ends up on there.
Well,
So it's probably not very consistent. I just do it.
I consciously put it so the paper comes down in the front. You consciously, what feels like, put it in the back. So I'm constantly flipping it.
Well, I will say, I mean, this is probably way too minutia, but my favorite roll to do is we have a bathroom where it just lifts, like the thing lifts up on one side and you just slide it on. Like I like that because it's
Quite
super
convenient.
easy.
Yes.
Yeah. Whereas the one where you take it off and the spring shoots out the thing and it flies all over the place and you can't get the spring back. Like who invented that nonsense? Honestly, it's ridiculous. I wonder, we should find out who invented the toilet paper spring device. Like, why not have it like the one where it just like lands down and lands up?
Yeah, I don't know.
I like the one too, the ones that other people have where there's no end on the other side. So like, you might use it and the thing flies off or what, it's just sort of, I don't know why we're talking about this, but hey, once again, I will say that, we need to put consistency in toilet paper or in toilets where the seat doesn't slam down. I did scare everybody in the plane yesterday once again because American Airlines, which I flew out, has the...
Oh, I thought you were Delta.
No, Delta didn't have a flight that I wanted, so I flew American. And they have the slow fall toilet seat, and then the one in Delta has none, so it literally sounds like the engine just went out when you drop it, and I'm just like, I'm sorry.
There's somebody in my office who slams down the toilet seat and you can hear it.
Well, first of all, no one slams down a toilet seat. It's just a toilet seat that when it falls it slams. Like there should be shock absorbers at all times in these things.
Oh, Flynn's trying to get out, and
I know, but I didn't close it.
He's using his nose and his paws to open up the door.
So our dog, 10% of the time has deductive reasoning, and he just
finished.
Used it. Congratulations.
So proud of him.
But heaven
puppy.
forbid his leash is on the wrong side of a pole and he has no idea how he can escape.
And he's strangling himself. Okay,
Yes.
should we go on to real subjects? Actually, the sun is shining. It suddenly has gone from 60 degrees to what feels like 75 degrees.
That reminds me of a pledge song we had in Phi Gamma Delta. The sun is shining, oh happy days, no more troubles, no skies are gray. Oh happy days, oh lucky me. And of course we had to sing that when stuff wasn't all that fun to do. But anyway, that side note. So yeah, serious subject. What are we doing?
So TikTok now has a U.S. entity where the Chinese really only own like 16%. Is this a loophole so we don't ban them?
First of all, this is the worst, I think, of the Donald Trump decision making. And by the way, if I voted for Kamala, if I voted for Donald Trump, and some people probably know who I voted for, but no matter who I voted for, I would call balls and strikes and say, that was a bad policy move. That was a good policy move. Whatever it is, like I am not blinded by loyalty to a decision. And I will say, I'm not going to say who I voted for unless you guys know who I did. But with Donald Trump, I'm going to say that Twitter or TikTok is the most powerful soft power weapon ever made in the world. It is controlled by one of our 4 foreign adversaries. If anybody knows who those are, is dictated by, I was going to say the Pentagon or the Department of Defense, but it's actually now called the Department of War, and Congress and the rest of all the bodies of the United States of American government. There are 4 of them. It's called North Korea, Iran, Russia, and China. So if we had a social media platform where 40+% of the people under 40 years old were...
Flynn, please stop eating your poo-poo.
Yeah, I don't understand
Stop
why our
eating your
dog
poo-poo.
wants to eat... It's just so...
Sorry, it's so gross.
It's on... Hey, Trump. Flynn, get in here. I'm talking about Trump and TikTok. So anyway...
Puppy, you can't eat your poo-poo. It's going to make your...
I would
tummy
say
hurt.
if you had 40% plus of the people under 40 digesting and getting their news and information from one social media platform, and it was owned by and controlled by North Korea, we would absolutely not allow it here in the country. The same thing is with TikTok. Now, if you look at this TikTok deal, first of all,
so
it is
ByteDance owns TikTok.
ByteDance is the largest private company in the world, probably outside of, say, SpaceX. I think it's worth well over $500 billion, and it is fully controlled and owned by Beijing, which means it's a company inside of China. And they are still the largest shareholder in this new TikTok contraption structure.
Yes, but there's a caveat because isn't ByteDance also owned by global institutions and investors, including like your BlackRock, your Sequoia Capital, things like that? And aren't those U.S. non-Chinese entities?
Yes, those are non-controlling owners, investors inside of ByteDance.
But according to my research, they actually own a majority, like 60%.
Well,
so is
no,
it really,
but the largest shareholder continues to be ByteDance. They have almost 20% of the company.
Oh, I get it. Like the largest single shareholder.
Yes. Okay. So that means the largest single shareholder is beholden to Beijing and what Beijing wants, and what Beijing wants to throttle as far as news and information, what it wants to amplify as far as news and information. On top of it, we also did what you're not supposed to do with any sort of, say, broadcast network in the country, because broadcast networks provide news and information for the United States citizens. You're not supposed to have foreign entities owning broadcast networks. So not only do we have Beijing owning the largest piece of TikTok, but we also have companies, say, out of Abu Dhabi also owning it. And by the way, Abu Dhabi is an ally of the United States of America, but Abu Dhabi would be prevented from, saying, owning an ABC or an NBC or a CBS. And TikTok is way more powerful than one of those broadcast networks in terms of this dissemination of news and information. The other thing about this, not to jump on this soapbox or whatever, this is important stuff for people to know. There has not been a proper vetting or diligencing of the bifurcation of the algorithm from Beijing's control. In other words,
let's back up. What does that mean?
So the algorithm in TikTok, if anybody has used it, and I have used it because I was involved in a lot of
because you do TikToks with your daughter.
I do TikToks with my daughter, but I don't use TikTok as a platform. But when I worked on that op-ed with the Select Committee on China, which is a congressional committee now run by Chairman Molinar, but it used to be Chairman Mike Gallagher and Krishnamurthy, we did a lot of studies on TikTok and the hashtag use and the amplification of hashtags that essentially satisfy agendas from Beijing over Western democracies was massive compared to all the other social media platforms. And then the things that were throttled showed the same situation. So as Krishnamurthy and Mike Gallagher called the device TikTok digital fentanyl, not only is it completely addictive for people that use it, including our daughter, who actually put a program on her phone which limited her to an hour a day or something like that?
No, I think it was like 20 minutes. I mean, she tried to really limit it. I don't know how that goes. I mean, and that goes into a conversation we're going to talk about.
Okay, but you have the addiction factor, the digital fentanyl factor. Then you also have, where is the data being held that so much is collected through that app. And we have figured out ways to put it on the Oracle cloud storage and various other data centers, I believe, in Texas. So there might be a data protection scenario that could pass vetting, but the actual dissemination of news and information, the propaganda engine that TikTok was invented to be, to disseminate around the world, to essentially sway Western democracies away from democracy control, away from Western influence, and towards the China gravitational pull of communism. That is where our issue is. That is the biggest problem when it comes to TikTok, and that has not been diligence vetted in terms of national security concerns, in terms of who is actually controlling that algorithm.
Okay, so I've asked you this before. If you had President Trump's ear, what would you say?
I would say TikTok absolutely needs to be abolished. And not only would I say that, but I would also add to it, if you get rid of TikTok, the beauty is that American companies will fill the void of what TikTok's audience was digesting through a foreign adversary owned and controlled app. So you would suddenly see more people. And I'm not saying these apps are great. Let's face it. Social media is a real problem in terms of society in general. But at least you would turn all those audiences, all those creators, all the people that activate and use that device and use the device for news and information, you would turn their attentions towards American-run, American-owned social media apps. Now, obviously, there's various issues we got to fix with those guys too, but I would much rather have Mark Zuckerberg, no matter how much people think he's the devil or whatever it is, I would rather Mark Zuckerberg and, the Elon Musks and various others, the Larry Pages and stuff, having more of a direct control over what we see than a foreign adversary. The same way I would not want Kim Jong-un in charge of our algorithms.
No, I get that. I do.
Good.
So that would be what you'd say.
Yeah, I would say this is a very pro-American move, not only on a national security level, but also on a business level. And I would say, look, I know you have Steve Yass and you have General Atlantic and you got all these other very big institutional investors that were huge donors. But President Trump, if you move this towards a pro-American approach, you will find that you're benefiting many other American investors that are involved in American products and services that disseminate news and information.
Okay, so now I want to move to another topic, which is similarly related, and I was going to get to it later in this podcast, but it feels appropriate now. Why are then U.S. companies mirroring that TikTok model? I mean, yes, I know it's successful, but just this week, Netflix came out and said, we're going to follow this TikTok sort of vertical streaming, vertical streaming, I'll call it an algorithm, I suppose, but it's to continue getting people addicted to their platform. Now, specifically, they were talking about it on a phone. I don't have Netflix on my phone. We just watch Netflix on TV. But I do know, like our daughter in particular, she'll, if she's home at night after class or after a party or whatever it is, like she'll sit in bed and she'll stream Netflix shows on her phone. So much like that TikTok, you go from one video to another video to another video, that what they call vertical streaming. That's what Netflix is doing. And they're also doing sort of that same interaction where you could like something, you could say haha to something, the emojis or the quick responses to invoke that engagement that TikTok has so coined. Netflix is doing the same thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, China has been amazing at stealing our IP process, various other patents, inventions that have come out of the West, and then applying them to themselves and doing it in terms of domestic competition against the original players that were dominating the space. But if you look at TikTok and what ByteDance has developed, obviously they've taken a lot of what we generated through our tech business in terms of apps, but they took it to the next level. And I do give a hats off for them getting there first in terms of the most addictive type of social media platform. So everybody else marvels at how addictive TikTok is, how that algorithm works, how the data collection works, and the kind of content that seems to really generate the most amount of eyeballs and longest periods of duration of engagement. So
I actually want to tell you something that Netflix is following a TikTok creator model where producers are increasingly creating sort of episodes and movies that quote unquote hook the viewer in 2 minutes to avoid the sort of scroll, swipe left or right. And I'm not talking about Tinder or just like the next content. So they're specifically making material that is very sort of alluring and addictive. They're also creating like memeable content. I mean, I didn't even know what this was, but in shows like Wednesday or Squid Game, there's scenes that are actually designed with kind of this TikTok model in mind that have this high visual contrast. They've got specific dances or catchphrases that people know will go viral in like 15 seconds.
Yeah, well, that capturing attention and holding attention spans through the, say, first 5 minutes of something long form, or doing it on a shorter term basis for shorter form content is crucial. I mean, I believe we talked about Matt Damon and Ben Affleck on Joe Rogan.
I don't know. Did we? I don't think we did.
Maybe we did, but they did an interview with Joe Rogan, I guess 2 weeks ago, to promote the movie that we watched last night. Why am I forgetting the name of it?
Rip.
Yeah, Rip. Which was an interesting police drama. I thought it was well shot, and Matt and Ben were their typical greatness. I would give it a recommend. I don't think it was a 10 out of 10, but it was a recommend.
It had a little bit of a Usual Suspects where it all comes together at the end. It had a little bit of like a 90s Miami Vice cop, dirty cop, shoot things up, drug lords, lots of cash.
Yeah, it reminded me, I forgot what that David Ayers movie was that took place in L.A. Around cops.
Heat?
No, that was Michael Mann. But anyway, they talked about how the 3-act structure has changed quite a bit, where you can't spend all your money just on the third act. You got to bring some of that budget towards the opening of the movie and how you grab attention and keep attention through big action set pieces, etc., so that people stay engaged in the movie. And then you actually have to repeat the plot over and over again in the film because too many people are distracted by their phones, which I thought was interesting. Now, I will say last night, their opening of Rip was very akin to, I would say, just a typical cold opening of a film, right? Most films, at least large sort of action type of films, have a very engaging opening scene where there's a lot of action and it sort of grabs your attention, and then you essentially maybe cut to the credits or you cut to the beginning of the first act or whatever it is. We did that in various other movies over time. Fast and Furious is notorious for it. So they did that. So I don't really know if I saw too much of what they were talking about with Joe Rogan, but I'm sure it was subtly put in there. But what I will say is, for long form content, yes, you're trying to trap and engage and stick people to that content as early as possible so that they watch it all the way through. I will tell you, even with our film Bad Counselors, we did various tests and saw where people were actually disengaging with the content early in the movie. And we actually changed a bunch of things through the edit to make sure that we countered that problem, and it worked. So it is something that is very, very well studied, particularly at Netflix. And when you're looking at the shorter form content, like these vertical mini dramas or various other things that they're experimenting with, something that China has done a really good job with, you're going to do it on shorter form content too, to make sure people get addicted and keep scrolling. Huh. How about that? How about them apples?
Well, as you were talking...
By the way, how about them apples? That was a Matt Damon quote.
That was from Good Will Hunting.
Yes, it was.
Really good movie. Do you think it still holds up? We haven't seen it in a while. It's a really good one, though.
That I don't know. I wonder what happened to Minnie Driver. I haven't seen her in anything at all.
Nor have I.
Yeah, and there was like Stellan Skarsgård, Robin Williams, who passed away, obviously. That was sad. I believe even Casey Affleck was in that movie.
Yeah,
with
I think
Ben.
so, too.
Cole Hauser, I think, was in that, too.
Oh, yeah, maybe. He was part of that, like,
the
buddy,
Bostonian.
Yeah, they grew up with crew.
Yeah.
But as you were talking about sort of this new kind of equation on how you hook viewers, it made me think that a lot of the films that we've seen have that sort of, let's hook them with an incident that's going to happen in the movie, and then it's going to cut to like 6 hours before, 2 weeks earlier, right? So it hooks you, and then the story goes backward to build into that event, which then gets replayed at another point in the film.
Well, and there was a famous book that same thing, where it started off with this incredible like opening where it was Robert Downey Jr. was supposed to show up at the Iron Man 3 premiere in Beijing at the Forbidden City, and all chaos was cut loose and we didn't know what was going to happen. And then suddenly it cuts to the opening of this guy that was graduating college and found himself in the mailroom at William Morris.
What was that book called?
It was called Feeding the Dragon Inside the $1 Trillion Dilemma Facing Hollywood, the NBA, and American Business.
Woohoo!
Ooh.
Can you buy it on Amazon?
You can buy it anywhere where great books are sold. Thank you, Simon and Schuster.
Was that a humble brag right there, or
No.
an innocent plug?
An innocent plug. How about that? So, yeah, so that's where I think it's an amazing, serious topic that we should go back to.
Your book?
No, just everything that we're talking about in terms of the way social media is played, who controls it, how the algorithms work, and on top of that, that plays right into the content that we did, that we digest on a daily basis, and the fact that a lot of this content does bifurcate perspectives and bifurcate the American melting pot in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but last night's movie had nothing political about it.
I loved that. I love
right.
that.
Not that you love the movie, but it was really just like, it was a film. It had no stance. It had no messaging other than there's bad cops and there's good cops and there's cartels and drug money and, but there wasn't a right or left leaning.
No, if anything, the state, I would say the thematic of it was about. In fact, there was a moment in the movie where one of the female characters said something like, I get paid $80,000 a year to have my life on the line as part of this very elite sort of police force,
yeah.
right? And she's like, if I didn't do this and we didn't do this, chaos would occur, because law enforcement is the way you keep society together in a way where people follow rules, follow laws that allow an organization of how people in civilized societies can live. Now, obviously you can push the envelope and go too far, and obviously they could pull you into the ICE thing and all that other kind of stuff. But these people were fully doing what anybody from red or blue or purple would be like, oh, I'm glad people are actually doing this, because the evil protagonist or antagonists in this were cartels and drug dealers and very dirty cops, et cetera, et cetera. But one of the things,
Chandler.
Yeah, but one of the moral, ethical questions was, okay, you got all this dirty money.
Okay, so that is the question that we did pose to each other last night, is if you're going into one of these cartel houses, and I'm not ruining anything per se, but if you don't want to know anything about the movie, then just stop listening, or I don't know. But my question is, if you were given an opportunity where you were presented with, let's say, $1 million cash right in front of you, and only 500 grand of that was actually accounted for. Somebody knew that 500 grand existed. So basically 500, the other grand is just free and clear. It is like at your disposal.
No one knows it exists.
Now, it is probably dirty money because it's from, I'm guessing,
Correct.
the cartel, or maybe not a cartel, whatever it is. Would you take it? Because nobody would know that it was missing other than the cartel, I suppose. But there was no accounting for it.
So the obvious ethical, moral answer to that is absolutely no.
Correct.
But what they did was they showed that one of these characters obviously has massive financial issues, with keeping their kids, healthy and safe and in school, and medical bills and all that kind of stuff. And she literally held a stack of bills that I think was maybe $10,000. So but
that was life-changing to her.
Like a very small amount compared to the 20+ million in $100 bills they found. And she's just like, it's crazy. Just this little stack that no one would know difference. Is missing would change my life.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
And because of that, you can't just make this a black and white issue. I get the ethical and moral situation, but people are human, and survival instincts do take over,
especially when your kids and your family are involved.
Exactly. So
So maybe we talk about Greenland and Iceland next time?
On the next episode. Now, I will tell you, I am experimenting with bringing this thing on as a video podcast also, something that I think people have asked for in terms of YouTube. I will also say that we are experimenting with doing things remotely so that we don't go off the air for too long in between episodes. And on top of it, we'd really like to bring on new guests and do interviews like we have done a couple times, because I believe we probably ourselves can get a little boring. So look out for that. And we will try to bring a handful of episodes quickly together so that we can
because we
make
know
up
you're
for our
so
lost
excited
time.
to hear our voices.
Yeah. So until next time, we just really want to thank everybody for being patient between episodes. This is Plate and Ponder, Empty Nesting with Jen and Chris Fenton. Anybody in the storm apocalypse or the Armageddon that's coming through, we wish you safe and sound and electricity staying on. And
Dylan, stay inside. Your little nose is going to get frostbite.
exactly. And hopefully all the Fritos and various other Mountain Dews and stuff get you through the tough times of the next week. Our hearts are out with you, and we'll put some podcasts out so you have something to do in the downtime. Till next time.
Bye.